Do you ever get a quilt where the blocks you thought were perfectly straight, but they're not quite when you go to actually put it onto a machine to quilt it? Well, with the Bernina 790 Pro, there is a perfect system to align up designs and also make sure that the quilting is fitting where it needs to go perfectly. I'm Megan with Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum, and I'm eager to show you guys this new feature. I've already got a quilt panel here that's probably going to turn into a Christmas stocking, because that's something I do every year. But what's cool about this is that although mind's eye, it looks like all of these blocks are straight, they're not quite. So I've had difficulty trying to figure out what to do. So as soon as I heard that the 790 Pro had this feature, I had to give it a try myself. So I've got the Bernina small clamp hoop on that just came out, and I've got the machine. So let's play. If I go into the designs on the machine, section number 2 on the 790 Pro is going to be quilting designs. And I already kind of peeked around in here, and there's a perfect mistletoe pattern. So I'm going to go all the way to the end where that guy is hiding. As you can tell, there are 8 pages of designs of this. And not to mention, if you look carefully on the screen, it says BQM file. BQM is the same kind of quilting designs that the Bernina Q-matic software that works on the Q24, Q16 Plus, and the Q20. It's the same design type. So if you have a Q-matic but you want to do a baby quilt and not have to rack the whole thing on your machine, you can easily take it to your 790 Pro, use those same files, and put it on the machine. How nice is that? And then you can customize them just like you can on Q-matic. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pick my design, and I've got it here. Machine already knows what presser foot I've already got because I told it. It can tell which hoop is clamped in here, all of that. And if you look carefully on the fabric, there is a little laser pointing down. The new 790 Pro has a needlepoint laser, so it shows you exactly where things are going to line up, which is perfect for this warping function. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this little pattern into this square here on my fabric. So it's a perfect mistletoe pattern for the mistletoe part of the fabric. So we've got our mistletoe up on the screen. So I'm going to go I for information and go to this little icon, which we've seen before, but when I go in there, they've added a little wonky square. This is going to be how I can warp my design to be exactly what I want it to be. So I bring it in here and I can push that top corner. There she goes. And now you saw the machine shifted. So it's showing me where that top corner is going to land now. So if you look, you can see that needle pointer pointing down, and that is definitely not right where I want it on that mistletoe. So what I'm going to do here to have the hoop scooch over to where I need it to be, and that laser pointer helps it so that I don't have to be here the whole time. I can even just sit back and casually move this up and down to the point where I need it to be, which I'm pretty close, but as you can tell, it wasn't straight up and down. I'm gonna scooch her over. There she goes. Perfect. And then I'm gonna go to the next corner. And then I'm gonna do the same exact thing, where I bring it over. And if you look on the screen, there are some wild things happening to my design. And bring it back up. Doop-doo. Perfect. Now I'm going to do the same thing for these bottom 2 corners, which as you can see are very far down. So we're just going to have some fun. Move it over. This needlepoint laser is so accurate too. It is exactly where my needle is going to drop. So it makes it very easy to know that I'm getting exactly the precision that I need in order to get in these specific blocks. And if you look on my fabric, I actually already did one of these. Is a little snowflake design that I did next to the ornament. But I think this mistletoe one's going to turn out even cuter. Let me bring it up. Come on. We're almost there. Oop, wrong way. A little further down. Boop. There we go. So now you can see that big design that was in my quilt has now turned into this smaller design that's right there. And it's not perfectly square. It's close, but not quite. So that kind of helps hide character flaws if you didn't piece perfectly, which I love. I also like this button up here too. So if you look, right now it's at a 0-inch seam space around the design. If I press that, the design gets a little smaller, smaller, smaller. You can go all the way up to quite a bit. So it will even stitch to that design if I give it 1 1/8 inches 1.25 inches and make it very, very small. Obviously, I don't want to do that right now. So I'm going to push this until it goes back to 0, so it'll fill the whole space. But that feature is fantastic if you have bulky seams, if you want to make a trapunto look. It really makes things look beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm out of this. I've got my design. Machine knows everything is ready to go. So I'm going to go to my little stitch out. And then from here, I'm ready to go. So I'm going to press. I'm going to let it do its thing. Now, the quilting module on this machine is the Smart Drive technology. So, and I've got the little rabbit on, so she's going as fast as possible because I like to stitch fast. And you can tell that the machine isn't struggling, it's pretty quiet. It really does a beautiful job. Oh, it's turning out good. I also used variegated thread, because who doesn't like to quilt with variegated thread? I also like that I can see the crosshairs on the top of the screen as it tells me where it is in the design, and it even counts it down. And if I had my Bernina Stitch Out app, it would tell me exactly where I'm at, so I could go walk away and press another quilt or whatever I needed to do while it was doing its thing. All right, there we go. So now I have a perfectly placed square on this panel that wasn't perfect. So what I'll do is I'll show you what that looks like. Take her out. There it is, and you can see that it fit perfectly in my block. It's not too big, not too small. It's exactly where I wanted it to go. And with this small clamp hoop, it really made it easy to make that placement perfect. And now I can just unclamp it and go to the next one. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It is definitely a fun feature, so come play with it in one of our stores. We would love to show you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.